It's a wonderful Saturday afternoon here in lovely St. Maarten. We are in the district of Simpsonbay and we are facing the lovely Simpsonbay Lagoon. Welcome to all of you around the world who are viewing us on another live stream of Interact. We are so happy to have you. We had you just yesterday and we're having you today again. You know who our special guest is. We're going to get into that right about eventually as we talk about a few matters. We want to just say again welcome to our friends and all of those who view us from in the European region, specifically the Netherlands as well as Great Britain. We want to thank you very much for tuning in today. And we go back into the United States of America, our friends in the United States in New York City, Brooklyn area, the Boston area, as well as Miami, Florida. Thank you very much for viewing. And then also within the Caribbean region, our friends in Trinidad and Tobago, Commonwealth of Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, that is a federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and we go right back into St. Bart's, Anguilla, and then right there into Sunshine City, St. Maarten, French and Dutch St. Maarten. But before I do that, I want to just say hi to our friends as well, our brothers and sisters in Curacao, Aruba, and Bonaire, as well as Sabre and City Stations. They are always viewing us as well, so we want to thank you very much for coming on another live stream of Interact. I want to use this opportunity to ask Jeffrey to say a few words to all of you so that we can go right into welcoming our guests for today and then getting into some very interesting discussions that we're going to have with him this afternoon.
Roberto, thank you very much for allowing me again to be able to say a few words to our viewers. And those viewers that are going to be coming on at a later stage. As usual, I want to, because you already covered the whole world. You already mentioned Europe and all of the other countries in the world. I think you forgot Paris as well, you know.
Some of our friends, they love us,
exactly.
We call their countries.
Exactly.
So that's what we do it.
Exactly. But, you know, one of the things I love to do before we start, and when you give me the opportunity to, is to be able to mention the person that comes on first as a viewer.
Absolutely.
The first viewer. You know, I always do that, and I'm going to do it today again. I'm going right back to Trinidad, where you mentioned as well. And that person that came on first is none other than our media lady, a person that is very popular here in St. Maarten. And her name is Beverly Hyman Pantaleon. I'm sure that you know Beverly very well.
Absolutely.
Beverly, I was a couple times on Beverly's program.
Yes.
And she has done a whole lot for media here on this island, you know, so I want to thank her for coming on. And also Sharon Patrick Peterson, who's one of our regular viewers, always on, looking at this program. Whenever she sees the topics on the program, she comments about the program because, you know, the program is called Interact. So we want to interact with the people that are viewing to make sure that they understand, you know, what is going on with regards to what we're saying. Today we're going to be having a very, very powerful guest. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to mention the guest, to bring on this guest on this program, because it's your job to do that, Roberto. I'm here behind the camera. So I'm going to just say, greet the different people that are looking on. And I'm going to turn the floor back over to you, who's going to present our guest for this afternoon's program. So, Roberto.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. Even before getting into that, you know, we always want to give best wishes, you know, happy birthday wishes to all of those who are celebrating a birthday today. We didn't have any names coming in as to who are celebrating birthday, but we want to just say happy birthday to all of you who are live streaming with us. A pleasant day, many more years to come. And let's just go right into our special guest. Our special guest doesn't really need so much of an introduction, but at the same time, you know, because of the status and the level of who he is and what he represents, we have to do what we have to do. Let's call it protocol. You know, he has so many hats. We know that we are honored. Let me just say we are honored to have, and we are humbled to have in our midst Dr. Michel Petit. with us. He's no stranger to none of you out there in the live stream land. He doesn't need any introduction in the sense of as someone who has come on for the first time. But Dr. Petit he's a doctor by profession, and as well as he has a lot of history in terms of his legendary Petit family, which we'll go into as well during the program. And then apart from that, we know that he has some hobbies that you would want to get into. But I know he's laughing, some hobbies that you want to get into. But at the same time, right now, last but not least, he is a politician, and I believe he's also a vice president of the collectivity of Friends in Maarten, and he can correct me if I'm wrong when we get into that. But Dr. Petit, welcome to live stream of Interact. We are very happy to have you, Jeffrey and I, and we know we want to go into a lot of stuff with you. We know your personality, so just be yourself, because this program we're going to just flow with you, so you can say whatever you want to say. What you don't want to say, you don't say it. But we are grateful to have you. Thank you very much for coming on live stream of Interact.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm very happy to interact today with both of you, but also with the numerous people in the numerous countries you mentioned. So I guess we have, except Ukraine and Russia, we have people looking at us almost everywhere in the world. So I'm going to have my best behavior today. I told you I slip in jokes now and then.
But no problem.
Just the way, guys. When you're talking about serious things here, you can make people smile.
Of course. That's what we love to do with this program too, because our viewers, they keep coming back all the time. And I'll tell you this, Dr. Petit, you'd be surprised to see the variety of viewers that we have. We have from politicians viewing us, and in the Netherlands, they're looking at the second chamber, for example. We have those politicians locally here, as well as in Curacao. We have also our local families. We have families and friends in all the other countries who keep coming on because they just love the level of information that they're able to get in this program. And I'm sure that they're very excited to have you on today. And we want to just go into sequence as to the life of Dr. Michel Petit, and we're going to allow you to steer it as we go along with you. And we just want to talk to you very quickly about who you are. But a lot of viewers, they don't know who you are. We want you to talk about who you are, the history of your family, the Petit family, on the French side, and specifically the history of your dad, Dr. Sucriere Pastry, who was the mayor of France and Maarten, and we will go along from there. So I just want to give you the opportunity then to just do that as an introduction, and then we'll flow wherever it goes.
Good. Family background on the Petit side. My grandfather, mother was from Anguilla, and she got married to a Mr. Petit that came from Les Saintes, which is a small island close to Basse-Terre, Trois-Rivières, close to Guadeloupe. So I guess he came here to, quoting what I heard from my grandparents and my father, Mr. Fernand Petit came here to assist the government at that time to collect taxes. And I guess Anguillians still do come over on Saturdays to shop in St. Maarten. And so I guess this lady came to do something on St. Maarten. I guess she blew my great-grandfather away.
Your great-grandfather?
My grandfather's father.
What year was that?
My grandfather was born in 1901, so we're talking, my grandfather is in the middle of the children, so at that time they used to make children, like how we say here, back to back.
Back to back?
Yes, because no TV, no birth control.
So like the butcher and where we come from.
So anyway, so my grandfather would have been now 120 years, so we're talking 150 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So she was born in Anguilla, went to Lisette with my great-grandfather, had a good bit of children. One of them was going to Haiti and he died there. One of the kids died there on a ship. Then the others came back here to St. Maarten. Most of the children from my great-grandfather end up coming back here on St. Maarten. So you have a lot of Petits on St. Maarten, and you have a lot of Petits still from the same branch in Lisette, Guadeloupe. On my grandmother's side, her father was a Peterson. He married a lady, Becker, from the east of France, but all of those were born in St. Maarten. And the other sister married a Romney. So all the Romneys that you have in Marigot, we are family. We are family. Like for those who are a little older than you all, you take someone they used to call Dona Romney. And Dona Romney, father and my grandmother were first cousins. So this is a little bit my St. Maarten background. Personally, after attending primary school, I went like a lot of St. Martiners at that time. I went to school to Martinique at the age of 10. Left my parents. I mean, when I think about it now, when you're looking at kids 10 years old and you're going to put them this, it was really difficult for me. But I'm not the only one. All of those, my generation, who end up doing, studies abroad, left around that time. Even there's a few that left at the age of 9. But between 9 and 11, that's the time we had to go because that was the limit of schooling that made sense. After that was, so I went to Martinique, I went to Guadeloupe, I went to Paris, I went to Boston, and I came back. And all of that took a course of, I left at 10, came back at 33. So I was away for school-related and university for 33 years. Except that last year in the United States, I was already in my specialty, and I had 1 year of working in the United States. Well, then I came back, but let me just go to the end. Then I came back, worked on the Dutch side for 28, 29 years. I had a first retirement. I was already 60 and went to Angola to work for 11 years. So I really retired at 71 years old from medicine. And then with COVID, I stopped. And now I'm a politician.
Doc, you basically did the whole summary of your whole life there at the beginning, it is as if we're at the end.
But that's what he asked me to do. So
correct.
No, you could pick. You could pick. I give you the entire. I give you the menu.
No, the summary. Correct.
The summary. And you just go and do what you have to do.
Great. I'm glad that you did that because that was the direction that we wanted to go. In any case, we want to go right back to your dad.
Oh, but then we're going to another.
Yes, because we want to talk about, because for Jeffrey and I growing up, we always heard about Dr. Petit and the history with French and Dutch St. Maarten back in the days with the Dr. Claude Watty as well, and how things came about in terms of the relationship. Jeffrey and I were talking about the Treaty of Concord and all of that. But can you go back into the days, the time when your father was the mayor of French St. Maarten? That was before it became a collectivity, as well as the time that Dr. Claude Watty, the very powerful Democratic Party, was also ruling on the Dutch side. And what was that like, and how did it come about, the relationship?
Let me just go a little further back than your question.
Okay.
Because there's some things interesting you're going to discover. My father left St. Maarten too to go to Martinique school. And then from Martinique he went to Guadeloupe. And after his high school diploma, that was going to give him access to university, he stayed a year in Guadeloupe because there was no boat. It was just after the war, and you couldn't go to France easily or not at all. So he ended up staying in Guadeloupe almost a year. And you wouldn't believe, already in Guadeloupe, which is not his home or his island, he got involved with politics. Like how we say here, he used to go speak for them. He used to go on stages, and I found that out because while my
Wait a second. Let's leave the aircraft pass by because we're in Simpsonbay area. So
yeah, but
now
that's
and
okay.
again, that's for the
So
coverage.
once I was in Guadeloupe, I met this old lady who had, what you call a pension famille, where students used to stay by her. And my father was in her house. When I met her, she was already of a certain age. But she told me about my father speaking on behalf of politicians. There's no stage then. You used to speak on a box, a wooden box, just to give yourself a little height.
Yes, elevation.
So he already had that political poison into him. Then finally he left to go to France, and after this detail that I'm going to give you now, we'll switch to the politics when he came back. When he left, he had one suit. It was green, the only color, there's the only cloth they had here at that time. And it's William Marlin's wife, grandfather, I think, who was a tailor,
okay.
who had made that suit for him.
Brill.
Mr. Brill.
Mr. Brill.
Mr. Brill.
Okay, so that's why I wanted to go back to bring in these two things about his politics, his attraction for politics,
Yes.
and just to show that Mr. Brill, involvement. So obviously he went to France. He became a doctor. Came back. At the time after the war, you didn't have like no university. He went to school for 3 or 4 years. Then he got a vacation to come back here. He went back. He stayed about 7 or 8. Anyway, he came back in 1955 and started practicing. This I'm going to make it very interesting. He came back because letters used to take about 3 months to reach the person practicing. So my grandfather had wrote a letter and tell him you should come back to work in St. Maarten because the hospital is closed because the doctor passed away or retired and went back to Guadeloupe. So, but he was heading to go to work in Africa.
Wow.
Wow.
He was going to go to work in Africa because one of his good friends was going to Africa. They had job opportunities, and so he canceled that, and finally he came back here. So when he came back, there was what we call an acute appendix. You have to operate, and the hospital was empty. The hospital was on a fort hill, and the inhabitants of the fort hill, they were goats. So they had to go in the hospital, chase the goats out, map up the operating room, clean it up with Clorox or whatever. The instruments were always in metal containers, so took off the top, threw alcohol inside of them, lit them afire, leave them burn for a few minutes, close it, leave it cool, and that's the way the first operation started, maybe 4 or 5 hours late until they took out the goats, take out what the goats had put in it, wash the walls with Clorox and everything, and clean at least one room, then the operating room. And at that time, it wasn't machines put you asleep with heater. For having been put asleep with heater, I could tell you it's terrible. You would put the heater on a towel, put it on your face,
Yeah.
You just have
until you
fight,
fight. And I remember giving the nun who was holding me down kicks all over until the person passed away.
Yeah.
And then you operate them. So here and there, time went by. In 1958, when there was an election for deputy, which we were part of our association of communes, we had our deputy. The candidate for Guadeloupe, which was a doctor too, Dr. Petit, he had asked my father to represent him in St. Maarten against another candidate. So my father represented him and won the election on his behalf of about 150 votes, and the opposition had Mr. Eddie Fleming as representative. So already before he got elected, he already won indirectly that election. So he knew that he had a powerful impact on the electorate. So the year after 1959, he ran on his behalf to become mayor, and he won that election with more or less the same difference, maybe 50 or 60 votes.
Yes,
but it was very, population was small, so winning 150 to 200 votes was still substantial. So that's in 1959, and he remained mayor for three times, 6 years, 18 years. And just to give you an idea, only Albert Fleming won it 4 times after.
Wow.
But Albert wasn't going to go anymore because it's time. My father didn't want to go, but circumstances, yes. After 12 years, you're burned out, let's say. And anyway, his political stance vis-à-vis of the French government and in defense of St. Martin people made him that the government turned against him and made it that he lost the election.
Wow. You mentioned, I wanted to, because normally we like to get the family ties tied in here, because you said Mr. Eddie Fleming. How does Mr. Eddie Fleming tie in with Albert and Fleming? And this is
Eddie Fleming. The Fleming family is a big family also.
Yes.
They are different. For example, Louis Constant Fleming, you know. Yeah. His father, Constant Fleming, was also the mayor. But after Constant Fleming, Eddie Fleming was his brother, but not same mother, same father.
Okay.
And Albert is not that close. He's a cousin.
That's right. Okay, I understand.
Yeah. Albert's father was what we call Arthur Fleming. He used to work for Mam Fleming. He used to be, for those who what we call that time, he used to sell the cement. He used to sell the lumber. And the lumber, you could see, he used to measure it, check, see if it's straight, and then sell 3, 4, 5 pieces of lumber. So that was his job. So that was Albert Fleming, father.
That's where Albert got into construction as well.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, he was into construction.
No, but Albert, you have to give him credit. Albert started just being a mason under my uncle, my father, brother. At that time, the guy who was building a house, or the leader of the thing, would pass, and people used to jump on the back of the truck and whatever. And my uncle told me that he used to pick up Albert, pick up my uncle, and Albert started just being a simple, maybe probably just a help, and then he became a mason. So his knowledge of construction started very young.
Doc, while you talk about the history there with your dad and and the politics on the French side, I was wondering at what point, because you mentioned 1955, I think you said 1955. Then
he ran in 58 the first time.
58. Then you went right to 59, and so almost 1960. But it puts into my mind, thinking on the Dutch side, it also with the Democratic Party of the late Dr. Claude Water, for example, back in 1954, 55, coming into being the Democratic Party. I'm curious to know what kind of role and what was the relationship like with the Dutch side at that time with your father in those days?
It was personal relationship. It was between Sam La Vega,
Clem.
Floodwater, my father, Felix Choisy, Frank Mingo, who was Frank Mingo that you knew,
the father, who was in the cooking gas business.
Oh, so the father, Frank Mingo.
But the cooking gas business didn't start with the first Frank Mingo. It started with the
son.
No, the father of, let's put it this way, of the grandfather of the Mingos now. Their grandfather.
Their grandfather, yes.
Named Frank Mingo.
Correct.
He was at Lago.
Okay,
and I guess
Aruba.
that's Aruba, yes. And he was and he was also the representative of the union there. So already his green was like, politics and union and everything. Yeah,
Of course.
So he came back here and got into politics with my father. He had Mr. Hippolyte Kittel, which is known as Poco Kittel, Frank
Kittel.
Ringo, Félix Choisy, Louis Hamlet, and Grand Cross Fleming, and French Quarter, sorry. I mean, you can name them. Mr. Monique, the taxi driver. These are the people, those are the warriors of the 50s.
Well, you said something there. Oh, Jeffrey has a question.
Yeah,
you want to ask
I have a
quickly?
question because there's a book that I read about when St. Martin first celebrated St. Martin's Day.
Yes, in
I remember it.
1959.
Yeah, it was between the French and the Dutch side. I can't remember if they did it on the Dutch or the French
No, the
side.
first one happened in Chicago. I think, okay, how it happened. My father took that idea to Bloodwater. And they met at the Seaview Hotel. And they sealed the deal right away.
But why did they choose November 11th instead of March 23rd?
Okay, because of the same month.
November 11th. They celebrated it on November 11th.
We cannot still now create a holiday.
Exactly.
So we had to choose a holiday
Exactly.
that was pre-existing.
Exactly.
And
That's
then
it.
the day that was picked by the Dutch side, well, it's the southern side, this Dutch and French side. And, the southern side was a commemoration of some colonial thing, and my father didn't want St. Martin holiday to be done on a celebration of some colonial.
Your father didn't want it.
No, he didn't want that. So we settled for the 11th of November. But the main reason is that we can't create and say the 23rd.
Yeah.
You have to open it because it's the nation, the state who determines the holidays.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
state.
That's right.
Yeah, and November 11th, by the way, is also Veterans Day.
Yes.
It's all
But it's for First World War, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes. So
the ending of the First World War.
yeah, it turned out to be okay, and I've never seen. I mean, it's now a few years because I was in '59, but this celebration of St. Martin Day. When your grass is dry and you just put a match and how fast it spreads. This is what happened with that holiday. And that was, my father could hear me saying that's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to have a day that St. Martin people could identify themselves and celebrate the uniqueness and their togetherness on that day. And I think mission accomplished there. The other generation after kept the flame burning, and that's it. That flame is going to burn forever. And now we just adopted it's a cultural flag, but it's a Martin flag.
Yeah.
So we seal it down a little bit more. That identifies us. It's not a nation. It's a cultural flag.
Cultural.
flag.
Yeah.
Cultural
Yes,
flag.
yes.
So
It was just adopted.
Yeah.
So that was adopted officially on the French side. Now it was a question: is it adopted on the Dutch side?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
It was
happened
adopted
after.
at the Council of Ministers, and I think
we
the
did it-
president was there as
Yeah,
well.
we did it first in French Quarter.
Yeah.
Yes, you did it
last year.
before.
Yeah, you did it before.
Yeah, because at
Yes.
that time there was. But okay, so that's it.
So
Exactly.
basically
The deal
flag
is
It's sealed.
in a cultural symbol.
symbol. That's
Not
it.
the
There are
national
people
flag.
going to say, but it's a national. It's a cultural symbol.
I have Mr. Julian Chance here. He's saying
Where from?
my regards to. I think Julian Chance is the.
He's in Colombia now.
I don't know where he is now. I don't know. Julian Chance, can you say where you're at now? Because the doctor wants to know. He's always a gentleman and a scholar. He called you a scholar. Yeah.
Julian, I remember Julian very well. He had
Yeah.
this disco on Back Street.
Exactly.
No.
1950?
No. That was in the 80s and the 80s.
I know exactly.
No. But some pop 1950 or something like that.
No. That was in Madame Estate.
Anyway, I know Julian.
Yeah, but I met Julian in France
Yeah.
a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
But you know Julian Chance, their family's from Grand Cross, huh?
Okay.
the chances of
So Leo Chance as well?
Yeah.
The captain Leo Chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
you,
Sable, Grand Cross.
See, but- okay.
you keep pulling on me.
I pull on you?
Yeah, you know, not pulling on me, but because
Picking
I'm
you.
so curious because we try to. I told Jeffrey we're gonna be picking on you because we want to make sure that not leave this program without getting everything out of you. You know,
That's gonna be difficult, huh?
that's gonna be difficult.
Yeah,
Okay,
everything
Maybe
you're
you can say that. Maybe you can say that too.
you're asking for too much, yeah.
Because you know you got my attention from the get-go when you started to say, because you were basically saying that there was a lot of friendships here involved. You didn't talk about politics per se, but you're just saying that the friendships of the St. Martin people, and I think that included as well the southern part with Dr. Claude Watty, I would believe. You didn't even talk too much about the politics of it, but you talked more about the relationship.
When you
why
ask
is
me
that
how it
so?
started with a relationship.
Okay.
Both sides at that time, when the Dutch southern side was represented by Mr. Watty and the French side, because we have to say French because we are part of the French nation, was represented by my father. Those both gentlemen had, I wouldn't say an anti-Dutch and anti-French attitude, but they had a kind of, in French you say méfiance, you know, they were very careful not to
Yes.
get overwhelmed with let's call it firing. You know, when the island only had salt, basically that's what they had. Nobody wasn't doing much with St. Martin. And then so when they saw the potential, mostly on the French side, now France wanted to, you know, take over, which they did. They did in fact. And I'm going to go now to politics on. Right now, what's taking place as an elected person, and if you speak to most people from the French side who have, I would say, over around 50 years old, you know, age, they would tell you that since my father lost the election, this government is the first time that St. Martin people are getting back a little bit of control of their own country. Yeah?
Wow.
Well, because we are not anti-French. We are cooperating very well with the French government compared to the previous government who was fighting. But what is good is that we're cooperating and they're respecting us for what we are and what we're doing. We are bringing back out of the closet all the civil servants but very competent civil servants who had no job description really, and they couldn't fire them.
Then you call it put on Twilight Zone.
Yes, and then if you recall, they had a strike on the French side in 2021, I think, where the government building, if you want to call it that way, was closed for 3-4 months because the control of the civil servant was done by people coming from France, and the competent St. Martin people who was in the Twilight Zone. So we came back. The French government understands that. The lady left, our civil servants left, and since we are in office, and I'm surprised, this is my first time meeting these civil servants. There are some there, they are so competent. I was surprised and proud that we have so much of competence when they are sleeping. And for example, one of the biggest mishap of the last government is that they couldn't spend in time the money that was promised to them, because when they say we're going to give you 100 million for this, it's not they're sleeping. You have to set up a project and you have to execute.
Absolutely,
because you have to have enough credit, because they're going to pay you when you spend.
Yes.
So a lot of money went back. And right now we have access to money, we're doing things, and we got some big projects that we are putting together. Matter of fact, the president was away there for 10-12 days. He went in Holland to some with the minister, and I saw a picture with Sylvia was there. They meet twice a year.
In The Hague?
Yes. But anyway, but before going to the trip in Holland, they had a big meeting with the Prime Minister of France about how the distribution of the monies that will be given to the overseas. And we met with the Minister of Overseas about 6 months ago, 8 months ago. And it's the first time that Minister slept 3 or 4 nights on St. Maarten. He used to come in the morning, go back in the afternoon. So he stayed there, we had meetings, and he told us, he said, put our deal together so I could defend it, and I want one package. I don't want you all to put in this and next year coming back with it. So we putting a request to get 650 million euros, and we're going to have, you know, obviously we don't think we're going to get it, but we're going to get a substantial amount. That's that deal, but right there now 220 million were approved out of the European funds. That part used to go in Guadeloupe as one big sum, just like Curacao, you know, and Guadeloupe used to dispatch, and we always was short.
Right, so we had Nilles and Tillies.
Yes, they used to take more in Guadeloupe. So right now, the money that has to come to St. Maarten comes in St. Maarten right away.
Yes.
So we know for that particular portfolio, projects that we have money that has to be spent before 2027. Yeah, but that's not it. That's 200 million still, and we'll be able to do 200 and 220. So this we went a little far. So I'm trying to come back now to the question that you had, but I got lost myself. So you have to put me back on track.
So much information you be, because I know that we started to go into the politics of it, because there were so many questions that I would have wanted to ask you and still put there, because we talk about the whole Guadeloupe aspect with St. Maarten, and that reminds us too with Curacao, the Netherlands and
the bigger islands.
The bigger islands. So
always,
now today you have a collectivity. The French side, we have on that side country St. Maarten, we have our prime minister, and you have a president, and but how do you see our prime minister, the country St. Maarten southern side prime minister, with your president on the French side, in terms of the constitutional aspect, in terms of getting things working together to make things happen on the same level?
That was the main point in the discussion in Holland.
Okay.
And they're going to have a push for security. They're going to have a push in the medical field. They had 4 major points, and I'm really sorry that I can't remember the 2, but there are 4 or 5 points that they marked down.
Could be justice?
No, it can't be justice. No, can't be justice. It is okay. The problem with the border, that's finished, but it's cooperation, security issues.
Finance?
No, because finance. No, for hospital for sure, but it's in the press.
So health. Okay,
So
good.
it's gonna be
Alright,
because
clear,
it was just signed,
clear.
but this was the focal point.
Basically passing on the responsibilities to the collectivity, which was normally in the hands of Paris. That's what you're basically saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the French government is leaving a certain freedom for the 2 countries, both the northern and southern side, to work out a certain amount.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And the field of medicine, for example, and I know, and security issues, border issues, and things like that, immigration. And there are 2 or 3 more that we have a little bit of freedom and encouragement to go in those directions, both of us.
Dr. Petit, I want to ask you a question, because you know
you should call. You have to call me vice president.
Vice president. You see, I was coming to that because I was going to say
because otherwise we stand on the medical field.
Let's go. No. Let's just call you.
That was just a joke, huh?
No, but I think it was a serious joke, because I wanted to address you as vice president. Are you the first or the second or the
fourth? But it's like Sparrow. It's just a number.
It's just a number.
It's just a number.
But
it's not. Everybody have a different
responsibility in terms of. So what is your responsibility
social
in terms
affairs?
of sports? Social affairs. Wow, very interesting. Very
Interesting.
Very, very, very interesting. So, you really got me laughing out of me talking to you.
Yeah, I told you I would do that.
You made some remarks. You made some statements there for me that really seriously got my attention, because it made it seem as if things for some whatever reason was not happening in the past for whatever reason, and you almost made it seem as if the problem could have been on our side locally and not so much Paris and The Hague. Is that a correct statement? Maybe because you are basically saying, because I don't want to say that maybe it sounds a bit political, that you would then champion your party that's in government now and say that finally we are in now and we are doing it the right way, we are doing it better. But
I'm saying so.
That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then I accept that.
That's what I'm saying, but that's a reality.
Okay, you see, I like that. I like that. But you are basically saying, because you talk about, you mentioned The Hague, you mentioned Paris, some meetings going on.
But those meetings are meetings that are always going on once or twice a year.
Correct. What's always here? But what you're saying is that in the past it could have been that our countries, and I'm referring to St. Maarten, northern and southern side, that our representation has not been forthcoming in the sense of working on behalf of the people of French and Dutch St. Maarten. So, you understand my statement?
Yes, but I'm going to concentrate only on the French side because I don't know the situation between the local government on the southern side and Holland. What is sure is right now we have a privilege. Right now we northern side and the government that's in power now, we have, I would qualify, a privileged relationship with the state of France.
Privilege.
Yes, privilege. They are helping us tremendously and guiding us because they realize. Now, don't forget that a year ago they were firing real bullets at gendarmes in Senegal, and you couldn't pass. There was and the biggest how that came about is neglect of the youth, not giving them jobs, and so what we did in the first 6 months is turn that around completely. We had some money that we could dish out without the administrative, protection to associations, and they have to employ unemployed. So it's small task, cleaning. Don't you see now the French side is cleaner than before?
Yes.
Just up to now they're really cleaning. And
Yeah.
what we're doing, these guys who had nothing to do have something to do, and they're generating income.
Employment in those.
Yes, they're employing the youth, and we're doing a lot of.
Go ahead.
Now we are giving them responsibilities, and right now, for example, when somebody is going to bid on a project, those who are coming in with a bid, they have to tell us how many unemployed and unqualified people that they are going to employ.
Okay.
Because then there's a minimum. If you avoid that, you're not avoid, but if you don't include that, your bid is not up for consideration. So there's an obligation to employ a certain amount of unqualified and unemployed young people.
So it's So it's what you call
it's legal.
Tight conditions to the terms of reference. You establish the terms of reference as to how you
Yes, but
can
we're doing something that exists wasn't used before. Because when a company is employing people unemployed and unqualified, it's a burden for them. Because if they unqualified, the work is not done as fast as good. So it's a waste of time for the company, so it ends up costing them. But for us, it is like a work. It's a formation. By doing that, you're bringing them in the construction world, and they're learning a trade.
So from a social aspect, then you'll be able to facilitate as government. So you as vice president of that area, that benefits you.
Benefits me, but benefits
Benefits
not
the
me.
whole
The benefits,
collectivity, I understand, but that would be an area that you would be personally responsible for.
No, not that part. That part is but nevertheless, everything social includes everything. So obviously there's a gain for what I represent in terms of responsibility. So these are the things we're doing, and the French government likes that because no government wants to have a country with social tension and with, it affects tourism, it affects everything, it affects the economy. So now it's quiet. You have to realize is we took a young guy from Sandy Ground, and he's one of our best future politicians in terms of responsibility. He's 20-something years old, and he was a leader in Sandy Ground. And we took him out because he was a leader, but he's still an educated person, and he is doing a great job. This young guy has a potential to be there for quite a while. So we brought in a lot of young people.
So
a
basically,
big responsibility.
empowerment of your people. That's what you're basically
So he is. First of all, his nickname was the president of Senegal before.
Wow.
No, just to tell you his influence in Senegal, and he's now part of the team. And so he knows the difficulty to get things done, and when they are done, he gets the benefit because he goes back to his area and he shares with them what he's doing. So he keeps the people abreast of how things are moving.
Wow.
And keep the social tension. We don't have no more social tension. I mean, you're always going to have, thing, but not to the magnitude that we had before. I mean, you remember the borders were closed and they were firing real bullets and things like that. No, I'm not saying that it might never happen, but under our watch, the way we are paying attention to them and addressing the issues that push them to do that, it's not going to happen.
So you're saying that, Mr. Vice President, you're saying then that what you've done, what your government has been doing now, is you've been taking a lot of the responsibilities, let's say from what we call the various ministries and the outside departments, and you have taken those budgets and putting them into the community, into the districts, and having, let's say, district leaders or district organizations, associations, and have them be responsible then for
the association,
the association.
The associations, every district have associations.
Okay.
And for example, cleaning is not one company. You don't bid for the island, you bid for that district. So we cut the cheese is being cut up in small portions, and everybody gets like how one of our famous politicians on the Dutch side used to say, everybody gets a big end.
Everybody gets a piece of it. Yeah. You say you could bid, that there would be conditions, because you're talking about bid now. You're talking about public tender and how the process of a public tender is done with closed bid. Everybody and
yes, that's the law.
That's the law.
You can't go, and it's very strict. There's different levels of control.
So even if while you're accommodating the community of St. Maarten, there's still laws that they still have to adhere to in order to be able to let's say, to
can't get away from it.
You can't get away from that.
Just to give you an example, I have the responsibility of a social portfolio. But, for example, the bidding. The president is the president of the committee that oversees the bidding.
Okay.
Make sure everything was done in order.
Yes.
But when he's not there, I'm in charge of that part. I'll do it. So that's why I know about the bidding. The bidding, it doesn't happen just like that. It's a very complicated administrative process. And when we are finished, and when I lead the committee, but we decide among us too. We have to see all the details of the bidding, all the documents, the evaluation of all the bids,
requirements,
and we need to know from the civil servants not one.
In charge,
How
yes.
that one got that evaluation, and how this one got another evaluation, and it goes by points. And at the end, we have to decide that the process went according to the law.
Yes.
And obviously at the end, it's the one who has the most points that gets the bid. You can't choose, and then let's give this one a little job. No, it doesn't work like that. Because these same documents, don't forget that everything we decide have what we call a contrôle de la légalité. It goes then to the state, which is represented on the French side by the prefecture. And we have an office to make sure that all our decisions follow the law. When we decide, it's still a control over us. It's a kind of higher supervision.
It's like the governor.
Excuse me?
It's like the governor.
Yes,
Yeah, yes.
yeah, but this is more everything, every decision we take have to go. You get a building permit. It's
It goes through them as well.
Yes,
Wow.
that's why the cheating and the things can't.
Mr. Vice President, so after the aircraft passed by, so just bear with us. We allowing the aircraft to pass by in order for us to continue with the Honorable Vice President of Sematech Collectivity. I want to ask you a very serious question again, because
All your questions are serious. No?
you are another serious question. I said, because you come with some good point, because you're putting me to think about what was happening in the past, in the decades. Because I don't know if I'm misunderstanding you, because it almost seems as if you're telling me that everything that was happening in the past wasn't going according to procedures or whatever, and now
Well,
you guys, your government is doing it the right way.
Okay, I
Correct
got
me
your
if I'm
point.
wrong.
No, you're not wrong, but it didn't happen that everybody did wrong and we are doing right. Don't forget that the administration, the way it was set up before, we became a collectivity. We were a commune of Guadeloupe. Guadeloupe is a department, and Guadeloupe, with the other islands, is a region. So we had the mayor and his councillors. Then Guadeloupe had two assemblies, one of the general council. So you had a representative in that assembly, and you had a regional assembly too. So these three administrations have different levels of responsibilities. So when we became a collectivity, from one day to the other, a simple island with ordinary civil servants had the responsibility of those three levels.
Yes.
So chaos. The first 5 years, it's a learning experience. The second 5 years, still in a learning process. Now we're in the fourth. Yeah, things go well. The last government, I mean, you have to call a dog and a cat. The last government that was in place, how it ended after 5 years. All the executive members, the executive council members left the president. They're no longer with him. There was a management style of management that was very difficult. It was like a one-man show. I'm repeating, all the members of the executive council ended up leaving the president. Matter of fact,
You're referring to the vice president.
yes, they all left him. Matter of fact, Valérie Damazo, who was the first vice president in charge of tourism, left him, and she's in our government now. Not the senior son, but she's
I
with us.
understand. But I have to ask you a question there, because
So coming back to this, we are doing things different. Once out of respect, any important decision that I want to, I could do it. But out of courtesy, I would go to the president and say, Mr. President, I'm about to do this and this, so I'm giving you the opportunity, first of all, to know that I'm going to do it, and in case you have a major problem,
He understands that.
because we call each other by our name. He said, Michel, I give you that job, you do that, and you have my entire trust, so do what you think is best for the country.
Wow.
That's the way we work.
As a team, as a team, as a team.
You have to realize.
Mr. Vice President, I'm listening very, very, very carefully. You're saying a lot of stuff, you know. I would have liked to take a note of a lot of things you say, because it's very important for our live stream viewers to follow what you say. I want to just for the sake of the live stream viewers and those who may not be understanding everything that is being said, somebody wants to say something.
Yeah. I have a Okama Etke. It could be somebody from Africa, you don't know.
Or maybe
She-
living here because...
No,
but,
she said, good afternoon, gentlemen. I am watching from Canada.
oh, okay.
Okay,
She said, very thought-provoking and educational exchange.
very good.
So
Nice.
she's
Very
learning
much.
a lot from this
Thank you very much.
conversation that we're having.
Good.
Thank you very much, Madam. Mr. Vice President, what I want to ask you is this, because look, I have a political head as well. So you're talking to just one politician, not another politician. I worked in government as well as an advisor, so I know how the system works. I know about policies, I know about laws, I know about ordinances, I understand all of that. It is almost seeming as if you are saying that it could have been, and I don't want to use, for lack of a better word, it could have been a little bit of a wild west before things were not probably in proper order, so that people were not getting the right directives as to how to function. I want to leave it as that. That's as
Yeah, but the Wild Wild West is
that,
not the...
but that's not the right word to use.
That's not the right word.
That's not the right word.
It was too much to handle. And again, you have to realize that they gave us the responsibilities, but we still didn't get the money.
Sort of Nellis and
So-
Tilly's going to country St. Martin and then I got you.
Every government since the beginning is pursuing the central government
I
to
got you.
finalize the wallet of money that they
I
had promised.
understand.
So they give us the responsibility and not the money to go with it.
So exactly so, Mr. Vice President. I want to ask you this because I was just about to ask you. You became a collectivity in what year? To be exact,
2007.
2007. You became a collectivity. So this process,
2007, 2012,
because you have a six-year period, huh?
Yeah, I think it's
So
2007. No, 5
6 and
years.
6
5
is
years.
5 years, so 10 years. So 2012, 10 years is 2017. So you become your government in 1 year.
No, we just there 14 months now. We're in
14
April,
months,
15 months. maybe.
Over here.
Yeah, over a year. Not a year and a half yet.
Okay, good. I want to
We
make
got elected in April 22.
I want to make a point here. In 2000 and you said in 2007.
I think it's 2007. Yeah.
2007.
2007. France and Maarten became a collectivity. So this change all happened in 2007. We are now in 2023, which is 16 years since 2007, if I'm correct. You are seeing now, since your government is in for the year, the 14 months, let's say, that France and Maarten is now experiencing this transformation, and I cannot imagine that this change could have just dropped out of the sky. It had to mean that something was happening before, work was being done before, had to be done. In terms of the procedures, it's just
Yes.
like on the Dutch side, we had 10-10-10, but then we had two different governments, and I don't want to get into that. You had one government that did not end up being the government, the recipient of 10-10-10, become a country, but the government before did most of the groundwork. But the other government that came in 10-10-10, they got all of the praise as if they made it happen.
Yeah,
So
I
could
understand that.
it be right and fair to say that the previous government, Mr. Vice President, would have done a lot of the groundwork that you are now, as a political party, being the beneficiary of?
Yes, for sure. Nobody would say the,
just wanted to make
contrary.
that clear for the
Nobody can
record.
say the contrary, but we started from so low, so it was, that's what I said, it was chaos because there was a learning process, but
Okay.
every government did something.
Okay, so it's just like they take over and then you take it to the next level,
Yes.
they go to the next level. So so you're saying here publicly, you're making a public statement on our Interact live stream that every government that was in place in the past did their part in taking it to the next level, and now your government is in place and now you are taking it to that next level, which is your responsibility.
No.
So
That's yes, you can't
Of
deny
course,
that.
of
Can't
course.
deny that.
So-
But
so-
some after 2007 did better than others. And you know, I'm a politician now, and I live. The one that was before, the one that lost the election there, could have done much better. You have to give them credit because the hurricane Irma was a drawback, and the COVID-19 was also a problem. In that. But nevertheless, they could have done much better. And I'm coming back. Don't you think you would have done better if your entire team?
Because you keep stressing on this you're talking about this one-man show rather than a team. If you had a team with you
could have done
you
better.
would have been more successful. That's
Yes.
what you're saying.
And if you had the civil servants, the local civil servants who are working with us to help us finish, we say the dossiers, I guess they say that, and the paperwork to get the money and to get the projects going. If everybody was working together, money that was available to do project wouldn't have gone, they wouldn't go back to France because they take them away from you. We lost, I think, 50 or 60 million euros.
Since you draw me into the politics and the fact that I'm
No, you just said that you're a politician. So
but we're talking
you're
about
in it-
politicians.
you're on it
So
now.
I'm going with you. I'm flowing with you, Mr. Vice President, our friend Maarten. You say we, good, your government, but isn't it a fact as well? And because I'm just following the facts of your last election, isn't it a fact that even while your government is in office, it has been a consortium of political parties that has become the new government that President Maarten has right now? Whereas if you would have had all of the political parties running as individual parties or standing as individual parties, that one-on-one you may not have been able to defeat the party that was in government, that is now in opposition, that one-on-one you were still not able to defeat them. No other party was still not able to defeat them because they have proven that one-on-one they're still more popular with the people of France and Maarten, and that was proven during the election. Is that a fact to say?
Well, you make it very simple. Our party, before Valérie Damazo joined us, because now it's a coalition.
Yes.
Our party was a rassemblement, a get-together of. That was the concept of our party from the beginning. Matter of fact, when I took the decision to join that party, it happened just like that. I mean, it happened in less than 5 minutes because I didn't want to do no politics at all. And then I didn't want to do politics then 5 minutes after I was in it. But anyway, that group had Jack Hamlet and Julot Charville in that group.
Correct. Okay.
And that was, let's say, the big fish. And then a few scales fell off. Julot started his party, Billy started his party. We had our ups and downs. But
Yes.
at that time, there's a real rejection of St. Maarten. When I say St. Maarten, the St. Maarten people of long ago, let's say, the old St. Maarten people. You know, St. Maarten people, you come here, you work, you from St. Maarten, you're going.
Of course,
No,
absolutely.
I'm not talking about those people. Then, and the same thing happened with my father, and the same thing happened with Alan Richardson when he ran, and Lulu Mussington, is to brand all of those people who are against French people. So the former government had crystallized the voters, the St. Maarten voters, but they came from France. And he got about 70% of those votes, and that was the backbone of his
Yes,
election.
yes, yes.
Now, right there now, and up to this election, he was campaigning a lot about if we won, that we're gonna, you know, you have to say some of them are don't understand. Yeah, they're gonna kick our out, they're racist and everything. We had a battle to fight on that level, which we did. But right now, seeing the same people who was telling us about their fears about having to run the country, they are praising him because there's no more social tension. The economy is improving, and I could bet my last dollar the former president is going to run back. He can't catch back that electoral thing because they're going to say, well, what you want me to take him out? We're here now for 5 years living peacefully. Finally, we're making some money, and everything you said, because they're telling us that they, you know, how radical we are going to be, and how, matter of fact, I have to wake up the president. Sometimes I say, but you know, Lulu, we got, because he's too nice. He is too nice.
That's what you say. So what was seemingly looked at as, let's say, a threat, then to, let's say, those that felt threatened that this sort of a underground operation or we type of movement, or whatever you want to call it, that was going to threaten, let's say, the very existence on the French side. Since you are in office, you are proven to be just the contrary, and now they're saying, "Hey, this is even better."
And we are getting congratulations by the same people. And they used to say, "Look, we didn't vote for you all, but we have to give our credit because good job. We feel comfortable. We have now hopes in the economy of St. Maarten coming back, and they don't, you know it. Once people feel secure about themselves,
Yes,
the social thing, that's all that they want.
exactly.
That's all they want. They want to be. And you didn't have that there. They had too much because they had neglected, and I'm repeating myself, you neglect the youth. You don't give them jobs, you don't give them opportunity. What do you want them to do? Now you give them jobs.
It's not a revolution.
Huh?
It's not a revolution.
Yes.
Of course.
So once you understand that, and it's quiet, and what we're telling because you can't force an employer to take somebody from St. Maarten, but if you go and say, hey, you know the problem is they're not working, do an effort, bring them in your store, bring them in something, it's working, and they're starting to realize, and that's helping us a lot, and helping the people who get in the job.
Jeff had a question.
Yeah, I have a question because we're speaking a lot about the northern side of St. Maarten. I want us to go a little and talk about what policy your government have with regards to allowing the southern side to be able to, work together with the northern side of St. Maarten. And I would go back to say where we would allow the Treaty of Concordia to come alive. Talk about the coexistence of the two sides of St. Maarten. What kind of agreement you have? Are you talking to the government of the southern side? Is there something?
We're talking, but I want to give you some difficulties. Right here now, and it's not because I am in politics now and I'm only criticizing those who were there before, but it's a reality. The water plan, production of water, the investment and the care that they had to do to prevent a breakdown that we had there, we were nearly knocked out. So right now we had to invest. We just made an investment of 100 million to bring in. We even have to bring in a mobile unit to produce water just in case while we buying. But you know, when you want these big pumps, you just don't go in the shelf and say, okay, you have a few of them, send them to me. They have to build them.
That's right.
So we didn't realize the chaos of the production and then the chaos of the leaks. We are losing a lot because not sufficient attention was paid to the water production and the farmer, maybe even before, but is the last one right there before who really didn't do nothing much. It caused a big, they started arguing in the council, but the reality is right now. So the difficulty, coming back to the question, the difficulty with the cooperation is the following. We have water connection possibilities between both sides of the island. So, and the water that you consume on the French side and the Dutch side are controlled by entities to make sure that the water for drinking that it's safe. But that part is not done by the local government. That part is done by the central government. So for us to get the water from the Dutch side, with the Dutch side is willing, have a lot of water, they're willing to give it to us. The problem is that we cannot, and the law, accept that water because the characteristic of the water don't fit the characteristic.
Doesn't comply with.
Yes,
I understand.
It's just that.
So you're telling me that the southern side is not getting
no,
the
it's
right
just
water?
different norms.
But the norms are different. The conditions are different because.
No, I understand,
because
but I want to ask the question: if we are not getting the right type of water,
No, you're getting the good
no,
ones. You're getting the good ones.
Okay.
But you're getting the good ones on your terms.
Yes. I understand exactly what you say because you
Because when the same person on the French side comes here to drink, they drink and nobody gets sick. I lived there 29 years. I never used to buy water. No, I drink GB water.
That's right.
And I do the same thing on the French side. But now I'm getting a little scared, so I'm buying bottled water. But it's just technical characteristics of the water. So we have to solve that. Same thing for the medical field. Just simple things as the connection for the oxygen and the walls on the Dutch side or on the equipment don't match the ones on the French side. So, it's just simple things, but that happens now. And Angola is probably a different situation. So these are the difficulties, the simple things. So where we cooperating, somewhere in one of the hills there, I'm not sure if it's up, there's a big radar, weather radar. Is it functioning already? Because that's a joint venture. Huh?
Okay.
It's on that hill, but 50% was.
That's Century Hill.
What?
Century, look right here to the left.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that one.
I don't know if it's working.
But there's one. That's not the airport.
No.
But anyway, the radar for the weather is a joint venture.
Okay.
They have also the sewage. That's taking a little time because they have to go there in a pond and the environment. But never there's a project to deal with sewage water. There's a project that they should do is to deal with the garbage, because soon the tallest hill, the highest hill in St. Maarten will be the one in the Pondville.
Yeah, I understand.
The sanitary landfill on Pond Island.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly, of course.
You can't continue having that in one of the tourist capital of the Caribbean. You got to do better than that. And because I lived on the Dutch side, I know of 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 projects. I'm not exaggerating. And so far, the trucks still coming, dumping. And you know what they're doing? Because you're getting all the lead and the toxic chemicals and slowly they're going in Philipsburg Harbor. That's a major issue.
You see
Right
that-
now it's polluted for 200 years, but at one time you got to stop and you got to deal with that. So that venture of dealing with garbage on the island should be done one project.
Mr. Vice President, those are all political decisions. To be honest with you, those are all political decisions, and I'm glad that Jeffrey brought this whole critique of Guardian and everything like that. But it forced me to take it to the next level, because I want to just say one word, use one word, cooperation, and I want to ask you that. What is the cooperation between Philipsburg, I'm talking about the Council of Ministers now, with the collectivity, meaning the president and his vice presidents? What is the relationship on that level? Is there cooperation?
Well,
is there means of working together on a regular basis, or would you say that there is none?
No,
I'm talking now political.
No, I know that the president and the prime minister meet quite often, quite often. I wouldn't, but quite often, and discussing certain issues. For example, I know they probably had meetings preparing this meeting there, and the cooperation that was decided. This is going to lead. Don't forget that was my biggest disappointment, is coming from the private sector or coming from a medical background. I have to work fast, because if I don't work fast, the person is going to die.
Yes.
When you come in administration, there's no such thing as fast.
No.
That don't exist.
No.
You don't even have to talk about slow. There's administrative time. So, but you got to put things in motion. This meeting they had there in Holland. The president is coming back tomorrow. Normally, what happens is when he comes back, we meet with him, and he contrary to the former government, he never used to return no kind of information to the other
To the local administration,
Yes.
to his
thing. That was
vice
one of the
president.
things. We have a breakdown meeting, and he goes through everything that he did.
I'm laughing, You have me laughing, Vice President.
Well, good for you.
Because
You
no,
live longer.
it's a very serious laugh, because I'm listening.
So, no, he's the president.
Yes.
He goes, and first of all, he doesn't go by himself. He had two sets of councillors. Whenever he goes to discuss a specific issue, because when you come in as a politician, you're a politician, but you're not a technician.
No, of course not.
So when you're going to discuss a specific issue, you're going with the technicians.
You're professionals who know the language, who know the field.
So you don't go by yourself and you sit down and they give. That's what used to happen. The president used to travel by himself, and when he comes back,
No,
he don't. This is sometimes he's coming Monday. Sometime, but 2 weeks wouldn't go by before that meeting, and he would have his books and everything organized, and he would say, I went that day, I did that, we did this, we made this progress, this, and you break it down that all of us know exactly what happened during that trip. So this issue with the cooperation, and I'll get that in detail. But you could ask the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister.
I'm going to, very interesting what you're saying here, but then
May I have my phone? I'll show you. I took a picture
Okay.
of those who.
very interesting. I don't want to distract you while you.
No,
Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
I want to say good afternoon to MP Claudius Bumcamper, and also to our good friend Frederick Williams as well, who is viewing
Yes,
this.
yes.
MP knows a whole lot about,
Of course.
the way in which
I'm happy
the
that
cooperation
I'm
of
happy that he's
the Dutch
following-
and the Frenches.
I'm happy that he's following, because I want to.
See, this is the meeting that just took place.
This is the meeting, Okay, it shows me here our Dutch Prime Minister, Maarten. It shows me here the President of the collectivity. And who is on the left?
This is the Minister of Overseas
This is
Territories.
Mr. Overseas Territory, and
Yeah.
who's on the right?
I have no idea. That's somebody from Holland.
Someone from Holland. So what you're seeing here
This is
that
this is during the meeting that I'm referring to.
you're seeing here that the two representatives of Dutch and French and Maarten are in a meeting with The Hague and Paris.
Yeah, it was on the 15th of June. So you see it's
Correct.
recent, huh?
Oh, I see. I know. I'm seeing I just wrote Mr. Hoekstra. I'm seeing Mr. Hoekstra here. He is the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So he's a Minister of Foreign Affairs. Of course, the Minister of Foreign Affairs would be then with the Prime Minister of St. Maarten, who would also represent Foreign Affairs on behalf of St. Maarten, and she is there with the with your president and the and your I think your president of overseas.
He is the president of overseas. Yeah, there's the minister of overseas.
This is Huxela here,
Yes.
correct? I see who's here. But
So
the point-
this happened just the 15th. Today's on the 17th.
17.
Yes,
So 2 days
17.
ago, so-
I want to make a point, a very serious point again. You know, you're going to laugh because I keep saying serious all the time, right?
Yeah.
I want to keep saying that because it's important. You use, and I appreciate every time, Vice President, that you use the word working together, you use the word team, you use the word cooperation. I love that language because for me that language brings success. Okay, team success. In this case, St. Maarten. You stated for the record that your president and his vice president, who I would refer to as the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, okay, on the dot side, because it's similar because
It's
all of
similar,
you have
there's different names.
all of you carry different portfolios that you're responsible for. This is in this aircraft pass, but what I'm going to say is very important. The question is going to be because you are here as a vice president, you are making a statement on this Interact live stream globally that your team, meaning your president and your vice presidents, are working cohesively.
Yes, but I'm going to stretch it out. There's another level too. There's all the Island Council members that sometimes we meet with. Because it doesn't stay to just our level.
But you're saying
so we bring it down to the...
So you're spreading it completely. So you're
Yes.
saying that you're working cohesively. You're saying that everybody's involved. No one is left out. So this is not a one-man or one-woman show.
Exactly.
You are saying that your president, when he stands there in Paris or The Hague, he lets his vice presidents know exactly what he's going to talk about.
First of all, before he leaves,
They know.
we know what he's going to do.
And
when
what
he
he's going to
comes
stick
back,
is what he's going to decide on.
He's going to report on what he got through to do and, his feelings about the meetings.
Let me ask you this: What if your president is in Paris having these types of meetings, these high-level meetings, and then his vice presidents on the ground are making other decisions? What happens then? Everybody doing their own thing.
No,
The
that's
vice
not
president,
That's not possible.
why is that not possible?
We are a team.
Of course, it's not possible because you are a team.
We respect and
Yes.
if you remember what I told you at the beginning, I have the authority from the president, not just by word of mouth, by a decree
Yes.
to do certain things. So I'm fully, but out of respect.
But you don't have to. You don't have to tell your
Yeah, but-
president.
No, but that's the way we work.
But you're making a Jeffrey. I don't know if you understand what I'm going. The point I'm making.
No, I understand what he's saying.
Basically, no.
We can't do nothing
saying
else.
Exactly what he's saying is the same as because in actuality it functions the same way on the dot side when it comes to a minister in the council of ministers with a prime minister. A minister has the power. He's empowered based on his ministry portfolio to take decisions. You are saying on the French side that your vice president of whatever ministry, in this case you're the vice president of social affairs, in as much as you have the authority to take your own decisions without even consulting with the president. You still do that as a team.
On major
Yeah,
issues.
but Roberto, in the Council of Ministers, there is a certain amount which is 50,000 guilders, and under the minister can take that decision on its own.
No, those are
But
things.
anything over that, he has
yeah.
to bring it to the Council of
Yeah, I
Ministers.
understand
This
that,
is-
but
this
those
is
are
not
still
on
small
money.
things.
But you have to know.
things.
You have to know that the same way I told you that this authority that was given to me by a decree.
Yes, I understand that.
He could take it away too.
But I understand that too.
He doesn't need no decision
No,
of no
no,
other thing.
no.
He would say, Vice President Petit, I think your decisions are not within the guideline, not the guideline, our political decisions, and I am taking away.
Withdrawing it, but can he do that on his own then,
Yes,
as president?
because he did it on his own to give it to me.
So, but on the French side, the difference is that, let's say in a council of ministers meeting, that decree, or that, let's say that what we call in Dutch machtiging, that is given to that minister, can be withdrawn from that minister by way of the council of ministers and the decision of the council of ministers. But it's a little different.
Yeah,
but
he does it. I got it from him, and he could take it away from me.
yes, but the point, like, it's a very positive statement I'm making here, because I very much applaud how you are doing it on the French side, because the team is what's going to make things happen. That's why you are very successful right now. It's not a one man or one woman show. It's a team, and I applaud that from the French government and why you'll be so successful. The other point I wanted to make again is because I want to go back to the relationship with Paris and France. How in questioning you on behalf of your president, what is the feedback from your president in terms of the relationship with Paris and specifically The Hague? What is that relationship like in terms of what he would report back to the vice presidents?
Well, we're going to know that next week.
Okay, in this case,
Because this is the first time
this is the first time.
that he was, I think so. This is the first time
Okay,
that
it's the first experience. So then you'll know from there.
Maybe I'm wrong, but it didn't happen too often. But the magnitude of this meeting is a lot more.
So this is huge.
This is a big meeting, because
It's very interesting to notice, because then coming out of this meeting, well, to be honest, if we don't hear it on the Dutch side, we will hear it from you guys on the French side.
yes, but I know there's 4 or 5 major points.
Okay.
But if you go on Instagram of the collectivity, you look for President Mussington, you'll find him. That's where I got this picture from. And there's the outline, the points that were engraved to be tackled in the next coming months or years.
And I'm going to put you on the spot, Vice President, again. There.
Again.
Would you be able to, when the President gets back, would you be able to get us on an interview with your President after he's gotten back? Because we would like to talk to him as well.
Well, you know what I'm going to answer. You had a contact with Malaika. She didn't contact you. Okay, she's our responsible of communication.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to, because I forwarded your contact.
Okay.
Because we have people that follow and organize our.
Understand.
You see the picture that I sent you.
Itinerary.
We have official pictures, and we can't use any pictures. So we had a session where professional pictures was taken, and you adapt one to the circumstances. We are organized government.
I know the president very, very well, because we both come from the Methodist Church. So we know each other very, very well.
You should know Alain Richardson too.
Okay, yeah.
I know Alain even better. Like he's a pastor in the Methodist Church.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I took their spot today. Alain should be here.
No.
Like that. But you know, but what you, that was we didn't laugh for a long time. You know, normally we try to laugh on this program, but you have us on a serious program here, because normally we laugh for some time, but
he was
you're
laughing.
not giving us a chance to laugh, Mr.
He was
Vice
laughing.
President.
I'm not giving you a chance to laugh. Or I'm giving you a chance. I am not what I am.
You got us on, not because you have us under a lot of pressure with all of these.
No, it's not pressure. It's a reality.
Of course.
We are working very well as a team. Now, husbands and wives, sometimes they have a little thing. So we do have mostly my
disagreements.
Disagreements. I would say something, and at the beginning, one of the younger, I think they said, "Oh, you think the VP And meanwhile, he said, Lulu said, I love you. Don't worry. Okay.
So nobody in your collectivity and in your government individually is I would say higher than the law, because the law feels that he's puffed-headed, that he can run his he or she can run his own show and not
First
have
of all,
to.
First of all, the system on the French side does avoid ship jumping. We have such a comfortable majority that if you want to leave,
It doesn't make any sense.
If you want to leave, you could leave with your seat.
Yes, if you're elected, yes, but you got to come out here. Yes, but it doesn't make. Yeah, you could go because you elected.
With your seat.
Yes, because you're not person of the seat. It's a certain amount of seats. But for example, the former president, he got 5 seats, but now he's down to 4 seats. There's a lady who pulled out from his party, so he's down to 4 seats. So at 5 seats, he had the rights to be declared as a party, but now with 4 seats.
But the government has how many seats represented?
I think we are 16. Huh?
16. But let's say you got 16 and 5 is 21. Let's say one was
2 more.
Let's say one was. Let's say your government was on 23. So let's say your government was on 14 seats, and the other and the opposition was on 9 seats, and then you had 2 people, jump ship or whatever you want to call it.
They go independent.
They go independent. What happens if it was a close?
Well, our government could fall. Huh?
Government could fall then.
Yes, could fall once you don't have the majority anymore. But it's set up in a way that one person's bad behavior or whatever wouldn't change anything. Eh?
Correct. Of course, when you have that kind of majority.
And then the person who would do that, the Dutch side, the person will raise a certain amount of votes. French side, you don't know how many votes are behind you.
Okay.
Everything is pooled.
So
Everything is pooled in the party.
yes.
So no one ever knows who's bigger than who. So you could be bigger than Mr. Mussington.
No, don't say that. These are. I'm sure that I had followers because I had a lot of followers from the Dutch side.
I'm just
but
saying that in the
theoretically,
sense of,
but these people already proved themselves. Huh? Mr. Mussington by himself got 1,000 votes. Huh? And
that's what you're saying.
More or less the same. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
First of all, they're first cousins. Huh?
Okay.
Mussington and Ale.
Yes.
Yeah, but then also the 2 first cousins being in the next to the council, in the collectivity, is that possible by law?
Yeah.
The 2 first cousins.
They elected.
It's based on the article.
No, there's not a
in any
private
case, it's
business
the
on this.
Constitution. So
Yeah.
yes. It's different. Good. I'm checking Jeffrey with the time.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I have to go just now because I have to go to train the kids.
Yes.
But I want to kind of go on because we did a lot of politics.
You told me that you were going to last a while and it would go fast. You said I didn't even realize that this.
Nowadays it goes quick. You don't realize. But
No, I have to leave.
Very quickly, because I want to ask you one question and then we can wrap.
Yeah, but I want to ask you one question. That's it.
Go
Don't
ahead.
fight.
What-
Answer both of them.
Yeah. What about? I'm going to your, because it's 2 things. When you was a doctor, I remember that time. I know that you were the one I was telling me yesterday. My son, you delivered my son back in the medical center, and Milukawan as well. And also, I remember your brother. I think his name was Francois. He was also a doctor.
Yes.
But then he went into the family business. He did something like Reggie Pantaflet, where y'all had a business
So
doing
my father was crushing rocks.
crushing rocks.
Yeah.
And
I just want to know what happened to that because I remember that very clearly, and what you guys do now in terms of the crushing of the rocks.
my brother's still into that, and I went from medicine to politics.
Okay. So y'all really did like a Claude Chester type of a combination, one business and one politics.
Yeah, but that's independent. He has a business. I have no business deal with them.
No.
So you have no business with the crushing.
Of course not. Of course.
Well, I have some properties around which when the crushing goes on, they crush. But the activity, I have nothing to do with the activity.
Okay.
Mr. Vice President, I know we have to cut things short here. There's a lot more that we want to talk about. We'll have to stop. We have to probably go to another series another time. at your convenience when we are able to do that. And I would really want us to do that when the delegation would have come back from, they're in Paris or they're in The Hague?
No, then back in Paris now.
They're in Paris now, so the team.
But then you'll have to see that with the president.
No, we'll get the news on that too anyhow. But
Yeah.
it's very
It
interesting.
should be on Monday on the local papers on the southern side. Hopefully, huh?
So we understand now, based on what you just informed us as to what to expect, what to look out for, what even our Prime Minister on the Dutch side is supposed to be saying to the people of St. Maarten. So we're getting it firsthand from you as to what is expected to come out of it. But just quickly, don't have a music here, your girl. That has to do with your hobbies. I know that you are not Dr. Petit anymore.
No.
You are honorable vice president of the collectivity.
No, vice president is for a time of my life. Dr. Petit would be for all my life.
Because that's
Exactly.
it's your profession.
Exactly.
But
Okay.
you
Dr.
have,
Petit will never go away. Next election, I will not be vice president. I'll run.
okay.
But you didn't ask me my age.
70s.
I didn't. Yeah. Should I ask your age?
Yeah,
Sure.
So
because I'm telling you, I'm running next
Okay,
time, and
so-
I'll be running when I'll be 77.
Whoa, what? What?
So that means I'm 73 now.
You're 73.
You look good. Like you look good.
Those who I don't want to say this because I can get in trouble, because on the Dutch side, there are some parties who may feel that at 73 they should get out of office.
I
They
came
shouldn't
in,
run anymore, but you came in
Yeah.
at that time.
and I think my brains are still good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your brain is
very good.
It's very good.
Very good.
But Vice President, the collectivity, as well as Mr. Dr. Petit, your hobbies. I needed to ask this question.
Well, my hobby is very simple. I want to make sure that your sister singing is on tune. So I hit on an instrument to keep the beat so she doesn't get loud. Now I just like to be with a band, and I do. I like to dance, and I was always like that. And I like to go on a band, play maracas, play anything, percussion.
Well, you know what made me kind of concerned, you said that I'm gonna end up on that, is that when you say, because you said your age, you said you're 73 now, and you're running, and you're gonna be back, you're in office for this period of time. It's kind of telling the band control that even at the age of 73 they should be still playing music and singing. They might be very encouraged about to hear that.
Well, I think they're going to be there because they're going to be around for a while, and I think the first band, the band is 41, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But
The only one who was there from the beginning is Jules.
Jules, yeah.
yes.
All the others came. I know the story from the beginning.
Sure. Cheryl Vallis and all that.
Yes.
They played with the band first.
Yes.
But
Cecil Griffith.
we're going to have another interview with you, because a lot of interesting information came out of this live stream interview, and we had some responses there from some of our viewers.
From Canada was
Yeah, the lady from Canada, she said a lot, but I
Yeah.
didn't say anything because she said she's an advisor to Sarah Rescott Williams, etc., etc.
Okay.
And she worked with Sarah on foreign
Yes,
affairs and all those
yes,
things.
you know,
And I would like to get in contact with her.
the lady
to
can
know
talk
who
about-
she is.
I mean, everybody knows that. It's not secret for anyone. Sarah, my father delivered Sarah's mother.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
And high-ranking politicians on the Dutch side too. Don't forget, I deliver about 10,000 babies on the Dutch side.
10,000. They passed 18.
I have some that are ministers.
Wow. But anyway, but for the lady, for I am. You talk about the honorable member of Parliament, Sarah Rescott Williams, who's the leader of the Democratic Party. I'm also the president of the Democratic Party, which you see, so so it's all connected.
The French side has. I'm gonna just use a word, has given the southern side a lot of politicians. Huh?
Yeah. I understand that.
Like the governor now, his family is from Saint Louis.
Ajuma.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes. Where Bailey is from Marcel Gomes,
Marcel as well. Yes, Marcel.
Ralph Richardson,
Ralph,
Yeah.
yes.
Crastel Gomes.
Yeah, Christ
Yes,
Telecom,
yes.
I mean, I could go on.
yeah. But you know, a lot of the French people went to school on the Dutch side.
But
I don't know if you know that.
Yes, of
It's
course.
exactly that.
And they went to work. And this is something I'll put a dig, which I am upset by letting me put this. Malabé survived because of people from the French side. And a lot of people worked at the airport and pay pension. And when it's time to do the pension, they didn't get nothing.
Who you blaming for that?
I don't know. But
We gotta cut off here because yeah.
So,
they lost all their pension. Zero.
Honorable Vice President, it was a pleasure to have had you on. I didn't know if Jeffrey could have pulled this off, but then again,
I could pull off all of them.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull off the president too.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good,
believe
good,
what I'm telling
good,
you.
Good.
Me okay at that.
But we want to, in advance, ask you very humbly and politely if you would like to come back on. Jeffrey's going to make contact with you for that because we feel there was some things that we missed out on.
But you gotta leave a little time go by, yeah?
Yeah,
Exactly.
we're gonna let the time go by.
Exactly.
But that whole what you call team and unity, I knew back some years ago, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis had a unity government, and we're seeing that over in other countries in the Caribbean where, let's say, teams or parties coming together or unity governments are being able to govern and rule in the best interest of the country, island, whichever country it is. So I don't know. We're expecting that after the outcome of this next election, that we can see something like that take place again, that can take St. Martin and people in the right direction.
Let's hope.
Southern and
Yeah.
northern side.
Your cousin Sharon Patrick Peterson also want to thank the host of the program for having. She said she's your cousin
Yes, she is.
on the program. He said, God bless you guys.
Thank you
And with
very
that,
much.
I want for us to close off the
Thank you very
program.
much.
I think it
See,
was
you know when I told you family with the Petersons?
Petersons.
Yes, correct.
Sharon's grandfather and my father first cousin.
Okay.
Yeah. And before we close up, I want to just say next week, Saturday, we're having 4 Calypsonians that are going to be on, which is going to be King Jacko, King Genius, Taiso Genius, King Bobo, and King Brett, Taiso Brett. They're going to be the 4 persons that are going to be on the program for next week, Saturday at 1 o'clock. So I want to thank all of you guys for being on the program today. And God bless all of you. Share the word about the program for next week. And we're going to see you guys on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thank you again,
Thank you.
Dr.
You're
Oh, Vice President.
No,
Vice President
no,
Michel
it's
Petit.
for Michel.
Exactly.
Michel.
Michel.
You know, you could
very
just say, hey, Michel, don't forget to come back.
Don't forget to come back.
Gotta come
Take
back.
care.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
welcome.
Yeah.